Okay, I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Lafourche Levee District for January 13th. Monty, will you lead us in the pledge?
I will.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mary, roll call, please.
Keith Guidry.
Here.
Gavin Polly.
Here.
Roland Curall.
Here.
Mitch Danos.
Here.
Brett DeRoche. Scott Terrio.
Here.
Brian Martz.
Here.
Nathan Lee Rome.
Here.
Monty Vegas.
Here.
Mr. President, we have a quorum.
Okay, thank you, Mary. All right, gentlemen, you've been presented minutes of last month's meeting. I'm looking for moved by Max, seconded by Scott, that we approved last month's meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Okay, we're moving on to elections of our board, for officers of our board. First position open is the president's.
Mr. President, I'd like to nominate Keith Guidry for president. Yourself?
Okay.
I'll second.
Anyone else? Okay. Moved by Monty, second by Mac. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Okay, we're moving on to the vice president. We have an opening on the vice president's thing.
So, Mr. President, I'd like to nominate Scott Terrio, vice president.
Anybody else? Anybody else? Have a motion?
Second.
Motion by Gavin. Second by Gavin, I'm sorry.
You need a second.
Yeah. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Then also for the position of executive director, I'd like to nominate Nick Matern.
Executive Secretary.
Executive secretary, okay.
Okay,
I'll second.
second by Mitch. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And Mary, we need the
Treasurer.
treasurer. And
I'd like to nominate Monty Vegas.
second. Okay, second, motion by Max, second by Scott. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. That's our officers for this year. And you've been also, you can look over, we adjusted the committee assignments and the amount of committees we have. Some hadn't met in 10 years, big research and all that. And now we're gonna set a schedule up for each committee to meet a little more often and come back to the executive committee with some reports. So, if you have any issues with the committee you're on, please get with me and Nick, and we'll make some adjustments if we have to, but I think this works pretty good. Okay, and that's all I have to report right now. Moving on, executive committee report. Nick?
Sure, Mr. President. The executive committee met on Monday, December 30th at 8 a.m. The first item on the agenda was a legislative update from Claytor Chabert, our state lobbyist. Prior to the update, Mr. Henri Boulay from the Morganza Action Coalition provided an update to the committee on the legislative successes of Morganza Action Coalition, including a last-minute addition of $20 million for construction funding for the 2 floodgates on the Intracoastal, one of which will connect the South Lafourche levee system to the North Lafourche levee system in La Rose. And so that was 20 million additional federal dollars they were able to squeeze into an omnibus bill. Then Mr. Chabert provided an update on the past legislative session and what to expect from the upcoming session, including a $15 million commitment that we got in December from CPRA for the La Rose Lock project to be included in the state's coastal master plan from Go Mesa funding for this year. So as long as we get the $15 million from HMGP through Lafourche Parish government, this $15 million committed from CPRA is the last money that we'll need to be able to go to construction on the La Rose Lock later this year. The second item was the mid-Barataria diversion. The committee discussed the project and decided not to recommend any action to the board. Third item was an IRS audit. The committee discussed that the IRS notified the office that an audit would be taking place on the 22 payroll, and that Mr. Alden Wall, CPA, was handling the requested information on our behalf. We'll have more updates as that is available. The fourth item was an IGA with Terrebonne Levee and Conservation District for gauge installation, which we'll be discussing a little later, in order to be able to utilize TLCD's previously competitively procured contract for water gauge equipment. Then the committee discussed the assignments in various board committees for the upcoming year, which you just took action on. We discussed priority projects for the year 2025 and the need to develop an at least unofficial 5-year plan for projects to begin securing funding and applying for permits. The committee also discussed officially renaming pump station number 1 in honor of Mr. Ronald Kale. And with no other items, the committee adjourned. That's the report.
Okay, any questions for Nick? All right, anyone from the audience here to address our board? Sure.
I'll be brief. I just want to tell you guys, some of you guys have been here a long time, and I started, got elected in '83, took office in '84, and won here in '85. That's the only time that it ever flooded, to say flooded. Of course, y'all wasn't finished with the levee system, but finally it got done. So I just want to thank you guys, and I want to thank all these guys that served. There was a bunch of guys that served, and everybody meant well, and you all mean well. I know you do. So what I'm here for is you know, there's a lot of terraces being built to protect the marsh. Some in Golden Meadow, some down the bayou, some by Fouchon. Everybody, you know, we want to protect Fouchon. That's our main goal. But we also got to protect ourselves to get to Fouchon. My concern is I took a ride to the boat launch, and it may be out of your jurisdiction, it may not. I'm just here talking to you. Is that when you get over the levee, the parish had 2 pumps there. We had an electric pump and we had a 7-year pump. And after Ida, they chose not to put it back. And it really want to make you cry to see that water getting ready to come by LA1. That strip of land can be saved. Eventually, you know, it can be saved now, but in 10 years it might be gone, okay? But to do nothing, it really gets to it. When I got a board on terrace to protect everything, the Gulf's almost in Catfish Bay. I know there's a lot of areas that's unprotected, but to me, the most vulnerable place for that levee to break, hopefully it never breaks, in which it was tested last time, it didn't break, is on the south end. To me, that little bit of property you have left there protects the locks, and it protects the road. They got a company building a $160 million plant right now, right between Nooney's and Tidewater Dock. They got a rig drilling right now on the bayou side. And Bud's Camp is turning that around. So my question is, y'all get a sales tax and a millage tax, right? Property tax. So I'm sure there's, it's all Ward 10, okay? And that includes Levee all the way to the parish line. What I'm trying to say is that it might be out of your jurisdiction, but your revenue that you're generating is on people from, there are many people from Levee and Fouchon. And I don't know if y'all could help. I've been trying to get the parish administration to do something. I'm not gonna knock my head against the wall, but that's what it looks like I have to do. And to try to get something protected there to help out that little stretch. I hate to see it just go to waste. And y'all seen it. I'm sure y'all been down there. And you know, I'm not criticizing nobody. I just feel that it needs to be addressed. And there's certain landowners there, and they're not going to give you their property. That's what they want. This administration that I deal with, they want them to give them the property. And that ain't going to happen. So whatever you could do, I'd appreciate it. I thank y'all for doing what y'all do, because listen, y'all really help us. When I could remember in the 80s and the 90s when we didn't have no money, the parish, the Levee district did a lot of things for us that they didn't have to do. And I know the parish pays your fuel, right? Well, they don't tell you to pay everybody else's fuel too. So to me, that's a mute issue. I don't think they pay y'all any maintenance money.
Nope.
None at all. But yet we still pay a millage tax. And most of it comes from South Lafourche when you put it all together. And before I get in trouble, I'm gonna stop right there. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. And, anyone else? Joe?
I'll give Joe Orgeron, State Rep. Give an update on the Golden Meadow Bridge. Spoke with the engineers that are redoing the gearbox. February 15th is now the new targeted date to have the bridge reopened. We'll see if they get hold of that. If you didn't know, there was a part of the gearbox, clutch forks or something, some parts in there that had to actually be sent to a forge, foundry to be created, because there were none off the shelf that could be done. So that was one of the delays that we're waiting on. Apart from that, I appreciate the executive committee of the board looking into providing that resolution for mid-Barrett area sediment diversion. Not surprised. I can understand your position on it. Just wanted to let you know that I'm going to continue to fight for getting that project back online for construction as permitted, as designed, and as fully funded. I did ask Nick to provide me something in writing, because that was one of the other prerequisites that I'd asked, whether provided a resolution or a denial, I'd like something in writing back from y'all. With that, thank y'all very much for all y'all do. Appreciate it.
You mean to tell me the Golden Meadow Bridge, South Lafourche Bridge, that's not the same design bridge, same mechanical that drives the lift to go up and down? They can't find these parts?
You would be amazed to know that the McDonald's Bridge, the Tibois Bridge, and the South Lafourche Bridge, and the Golden Meadow Bridge are not all identical. Despite them all looking the same, they probably have different gearboxes with ever so slightly different ratings. Not interchangeable parts. Now you need to know that the South Lafourche Bridge does have a problem with synchronization. Every 10 times it has a lip. That gearbox also needs to be, the bridge taken out of service, that gearbox removed and sent to the exact same place that the Golden Meadow Bridge gearbox is at right now. But they're not going to do that until the Golden Meadow Bridge is fixed. So that's been the delay for that particular bridge.
And then I saw the LA1 and a coastal bridge is going to be out till the end of
La Rose West Bridge will be out. I'm not sure what the reason is for that. Didn't get that other than the notice. Preventive maintenance for movable bridges in Louisiana is probably, well, y'all know that whenever Governor Landry stepped in, he pretty much saw that DOTD was not doing what they needed to do. They hired an outside company to go through it with a fine-tooth comb and make recommendations on how to fix it. There were legislative meetings where the Committee on Transportation was grilling DOTD. I basically got myself a seat in that committee just to complain about the bridges and the lack of preventive maintenance done, and where it's put us, out of pocket with the Golden Meadow Bridge. And the other thing I brought up was the grass cutting during the summer, and them not having a right contract process, because they get contracts for people, but then whoever they hire isn't able to do it in the way, and it usually only lasts 1 or 2 years before they have to go out to bid and get another one. And while they're out in bid and all of that, the grass is still growing, and what you hear is, it only gets cut for the Grand Ole Tarpon Rodeo.
It's true.
Anyway, that was amongst many other things that were mentioned to fix at DOTD. My two were the contracting needs to be done in a different way so that it's more consistent, and number two, the preventive maintenance on the bridges, which appears to be non-existent for our area, needs to be done. So keep in mind though that as the representative squeaky wheels go, in my district, I have 12 movable bridges. Jessica Domain in Terrebonne has 16, and I think we have the most of anybody. The next representative that has lots of bridges is like a number like 6 or 5. So we the ones that have to really get on the preventive maintenance for the bridges and tell them that this needs to be fixed, needs to be changed. But thank you very much for the question.
Okay, anyone else? Anyone else? And we want to thank you and Daniel. You'll make most of our meetings, and we appreciate, we know we can go to you guys when you're going to go to bat for us, so we appreciate you guys also. Okay, moving on, Executive Director's report. Nick?
All right, thank you, Mr. President. First is the intergovernmental agreement for the water monitoring system. So this is an agreement that our legal counsel drafted for us to enter into with the Terrebonne Levee Conservation District. If you recall, last summer, we were awarded with $400,000 of capital outlay funding to install digital gauges at both of our floodgates and all of our pump stations around the area. And so in order to make this cohesive with the efforts that Terrebonne Levee District has done, and regionally they can all coordinate and cooperate, especially as we've been working regionally to develop a freshwater management working group between Terrebonne Levee District, South Lafourche Levee District, North Lafourche Levee District, the parishes, and the Lafourche Freshwater District. Having all of this equipment being able to communicate with each other regionally will go a long way and be a big help in that effort. And so we would like to enter into this agreement with the Terrebonne Levee District to piggyback off of their competitive procurement for this kind of equipment so that everything is identical. And so that's the purpose of this. So I'd ask the board to approve my entering into this contract with Angela Hidalgo, the director of Terrebonne Levee District, in substantially the same form. They haven't approved it yet, but as long as our legal counsel can recommend that it's not a substantive change that would negatively affect the board, if there's any small wording changes that they'd like to make between now and then, we can enter into it.
Okay, you've heard a recommendation of our general manager to enter in an agreement with Terrebonne Parish. Need a motion? Moved by Brian, second by Scott. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passed.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. Next, as we discussed at our executive committee meeting, we felt it would be very fitting to rename pump station number 1 in honor of Mr. Ronald Kale, who just passed away last year. This is the pump station behind Oak Ridge Park in Golden Meadow, and so this would be a draft of the sign that we would erect at that location. So anybody heading to the boat launch would pass by and be highly visible. So this was something we had discussed previously, but never actually took official action on. So this would be official action, and we would go ahead and order the sign and schedule a dedication ceremony.
Yeah. Okay, you've heard a recommendation of our general manager to rename pump station number 1. Moved by Mac, second by Monty. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passed.
All right, thank you for that, gentlemen. And the last item is an update, two of them. Next would be the risk rating 2.0 update on the NFIP lawsuit that we have. So if you recall, back in 2023 on June 1st, we signed on as a partner in a lawsuit with the state attorney general, along with 9 or 10 other states, 12 levee districts, I think 29 parishes, and the Association of Levee Boards of Louisiana, to file suit against FEMA for their risk rating 2.0 system. Right after we filed suit against them to stop using it because it causes financial harm to our people, we then filed a request for a preliminary injunction, meaning that while the lawsuit would be going on, FEMA would be stopped from using it until a final verdict was rendered. The hearing on that was held on September 14th of 2023, along with the hearing on FEMA's motion that they filed to dismiss it completely on the grounds that they didn't feel that we had proper standing. So what that, I guess in layman's terms, is if person A harms person B, person C can't sue person B because person C had nothing to do with it. Only person A or anybody closely related with person A would be able to file suit against person B. So they were trying to say that we didn't actually experience any kind of financial hardship because we were not the ones that were injured. Our residents and business owners were the ones, so we didn't have standing. But the judge found that we did have standing because all we needed to prove was that any one of us on the lawsuit had an NFIP policy, and that gave us standing. And so he found that, and so the trial was able to move forward. The negative side of all this was that after the ruling came out, the preliminary injunction was denied. We were claiming that we had, I forgot the exact wording, but our financial hardship, the judge found, was not as great of a financial hardship that FEMA would have if they were to stop using risk rating 2.0. So that ruling was done. FEMA and their contractors then filed a motion for a protective order in July of last year. This order would be protecting their contractors who developed the risk rating 2.0 system against having their trade secrets publicly available. They didn't want people to see their program and their algorithms and be able to steal their work and use it in other applications. There was a hearing for this scheduled on September 24th. That was canceled after a phone conference between all the parties. And so the order is being taken under advisement on the briefs. I don't know if our counsel could put that in layman's terms for us, but.
They're delaying purposefully.
Yeah.
That's the layman's of that.
So, right now, there's been no recent movement since September, and no real update on anything else from the Attorney General's office other than that. But the NFIP was recently reauthorized until March 14th as part of the American Relief Act. So we still do have the NFIP in place. But as this progresses, if it progresses, we may see with whoever becomes the new FEMA administrator under President Trump's administration, this may be a completely different situation over the next coming months. So we'll follow it closely and update you guys and the public as we get more information. The last piece on my section is the 2025 Centerline Survey, authorizing PCO and Associates to prepare this. This is the survey that the product is behind me here that we do every year. And since last year, we've communicated more with the Army Corps of Engineers, and now we'll be submitting the results of this in the future to the Corps of Engineers to update the National Levee database annually, so they have the most up-to-date information. So we would ask that you guys would approve Pisciola and Associates performing that Centerline survey also this year.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation of our general manager to let Pisciola and Associates do the Centerline survey. Moved by Mitch, second by Scott. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passed.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. That's my report.
Okay, any questions today? Moving on to engineering reports, CPRA. Daniel, you have anything?
Two quick notes. Nick, you already covered this. CPR committed $15 million. Bill Rose Lot, that's going to be in the next year's annual plan. Probably going to be from Bill Mason, but you already covered that. The other one I wanted to bring up was the word bill, the 2004 word bill, the recently passed. Section 1317 is this board's Rose Gold Meadows system in it. Basically authorized a report for the quarterly, has to be done by I think it's June this year. We're going to get with you on that. I don't know if he's reached out to you yet, but our ops chief, Brad Barr, wants to just open up a conversation about that. Glenn talked about it this morning too at the leadership team. So anyway, some paths forward. There's a lot of things in that little authorization.
I'll be at the CPRA meeting Wednesday, so I'm sure I'll get to Brad and we can discuss it.
Sounds good. That was it.
Okay, thank you, Daniel. Corps of Engineers, anyone here from the Corps? That's odd. Moving on, project engineer, Pisciola and Associates.
Once upon everybody.
Okay, on our LaRose Lock project, Nick talked a little bit about funding. Our plans are 95% complete, all the permitting is complete. We're still working on a hydraulic modeling study for submittal to FEMA as part of their requirement for their funding. All the modeling is done, it's ready to go. We're gonna discuss this coming week the different scenarios we'll run in the model with HGA, who is the parish's consulting for submitting all this to FEMA. And hopefully within the next month, we'll be submitting the whole package to them. On our section E North levee improvements, this is on the outside of the Clovelly Farm. Construction Site Specialties, the contractor, they have been working and doing quite a bit of work in between the rain and the wet weather. They're nearing completion on emptying out one whole pit pretty soon. And they're hauling basically in this area right now, which is on the northern side near where the old Clovelly boat launch was. So we do have pay application number 12 in the amount of $294,974.31 to be paid to Construction Site Specialties.
Okay, you heard the recommendation of engineer, the pay application number 12 to Construction Site Specialist. $294,974.31. Moved by Brian, second by Roland. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried.
And on that same job, we have Blake Campo. He's working on the south end, working his way to the north. This is kind of pictures of it right here. He's got a dozer and an excavator out there. He's grading and shaping the material that Construction Site Specialties is put in place into the levee. So we're going to we're trying to work these two projects in tandem. We have pay application number 3 to Campo and Sons LLC in the amount of $61,180 even, and we do recommend you pay that.
Okay, you heard the recommendation of engineer, to pay application number 3 to Compo and Sons in the amount of $61,180. Moved by Max, second by Scott. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passed.
On section A East levee improvements, this is down in Golden Meadow on the east side of Lafourche from pump station number 4 down to the Leontario Lock. All our plans and specifications are complete. We've submitted everything to CPRA and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers for approval. We did get approval from CPRA. We have all the geotechnical studies approved. We're still working with the U.S. Army Corps and their 408 permit review. Nick is kind of working some angles from there, but we'll continue to work with them on that. And the emergency gate closure at the LaRose floodgate, these are placing 2 winches to help in case the main winch system fails. We accepted bids in late November. TLP Construction Company LLC was the low bidder in the amount of $140,000 even. We did have a pre-construction meeting with them, so we gave them the winches have like a 12-week lead time, and we're only giving them like 30 days to install the winches. So what we did was we gave them a conditional notice to proceed so they can purchase the winches, get them on order, and get them coming. And then when we have notification from them that they'll receive the winches, we'll give them an official notice to proceed to make their time start for 30 days to get the winches installed. So we're working with them right now. We've reviewed a couple of submittals on the winches, and hopefully this last time we'll get it right and they'll order the winches and they'll be on the way.
That's electric? They're electric winches?
They are electric
winches.
that's right.
How about if we have no power?
We have a generator set up. The generator's part of the package deal.
Sounds good.
Okay. Any questions?
Thank you. Thank you, Joe. GIS, John?
Good afternoon, John Plaisance with GIS Engineering. On the AE's Bayou Lafourche Water Retention Project, we're making some progress on the servitudes on that project. At least if you want to call it progress, we have one of the 4 servitude owners that we need to get has raised some questions, so we're trying to schedule a meeting with that particular property owner. And kind of developing Plan Bs in case that doesn't happen.
John, I did speak with Brian LaRose out of Oma. I know I had making on that to try to get some questions answered about that, with the appraisal values, those kind of things.
Okay, so if you need any information from me.
I'm on that too, yeah.
Okay. Will do. Okay, the next project we have is the D North Ramp Lift project. That is 2 parts. First part is the material stockpile behind the blue banner. Okay, over there we took some more material out of the triangular, put it off to the side. Y'all approved the change order last month for some additional work on that project. We have pay application in the amount of $78,642.90 for outer limit contractors, basically to pay for that change order. The work has been done.
And John, where exactly is this?
That is on Loop, behind Loop.
Okay, you heard the recommendation of engineer to pay application number 3 to outer limit contractors, the amount of $78,642.90. Moved by Gavin, second by Matt. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passed.
Okay, and again, this project's substantially complete. I think by next month we should have the 45-day lien period expired, and then the retainage will be due. Second part of that project is the actual ramp lift project, taking the asphalt road out, bringing in 4 or 5 feet of fill, and then putting the asphalt back. We took bids on that last week. We had 6 bids. The low bid was from Onshore Materials. The asphalt portion was an alternate. We recommend awarding that, so base bid plus the alternate in the amount of $652,312.
Okay, you heard the recommendation of engineer to give offshore material, offshore? Onshore, but there been too much offshore.
That's the lift and to put the cement,
Yeah.
I mean to put the.
And the asphalt.
And this would lift it to plus 18, so we'd be good for a long time.
Correct. So when we originally had the project 2 years ago, it was only going to go to 16, so we're going to raise it to 18 now.
And the cost increased how much for 2 foot?
I do not know that number. I can't get you that number though.
No.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure you can.
Okay, I'm looking for a motion.
I move.
Moved by Matt, second by Brian. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passed.
Okay, moving on to the Breton Canal Weir project. The contractor, Garden Environments, Inc., is doing this work, got the low bid. They have changed their name as of January 1st. So Ryan, I don't know what that means to us. The new name is Wolf Construction Group, Inc.
I'll get with Nick with that.
Wait, hold on, I can make sure about that.
No, Gordon's not.
Wolf Group Construction. It is the same people. It's the same people, so that's not, that part is not any different.
But there's some work going on.
They still on site?
Oh, yeah.
They are still in sight. In fact, the next part is today we actually went out there and raised and lowered the gates. So they work.
It's impressive, huh?
Nice.
They're quite all.
This is a low project.
We raised and lowered the gates. They are still, ooh, wow, fancy video up there. You can see that they're powered gates. In the event the power goes out, you can lower them by hand. You can see this is the water going through the gates.
We could lower them by hand, or we can bring a portable generator out there and hook up to it.
Or you could bring a portable generator out
Much
there,
quicker.
correct. So we did that just to make sure they work. The big plug is still out in front. They'll be working on taking that out in the next few weeks.
You just pump the water in,
Just to test it.
Yes.
Well, it works. Water flows over the gates when they lower it.
Correct. And as part of this project, we have pay app number 5 in the amount of $164,617.42. We still have it as Garden Environments, Inc.
Can't do the traffic team.
Okay, but I don't have that number. You say
That
what?
number where?
$164,617.42.
And pay what number?
Number 5.
Well, that's not what we have.
Well, we have 179,250.
Yeah.
Second page.
Oh,
That's the old, that's last month's number.
That's last month's number?
Yeah, if you got a new agenda, it's got the right number on it.
I have 164.
Oh, wait, make sure.
Sure, but not on here.
Yeah, 164, 617,
That was
and
for
42.
just letting the water pass, huh? You know, and,
That is all the work they did to make sure the water could pass.
Sure we got water coming out?
Oh, here we go.
Jesus Christ.
164, 617, 42.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation of engineer to pay Garden Environmental for now. $164,617.42.
I'm up.
Moved by Monty, second by Matt, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Move on.
Woof.
Yeah, they haven't changed their name yet by the time when they submitted this invoice. Okay, the final project we have for y'all is the D-South flood wall at Crawfish Farms Phase 3. We have 2 items in front of y'all. The first, a pay application, number 1 in the amount of $230,035.38 to Sea Level Construction, Inc.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation of engineer to pay Sea Level Construction, $230,035.38. Moved by Mac, second by Mr. Rowland. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, while we were working on the project, as y'all may recall, we've been doing this again. This is the 3rd phase. We had wings protecting it. We had the central part, which was number 2, and then we're extending the wings again into the levee as part of phase 3. So we're basically extending a steel sheet pile wall. When they excavated the concrete and started excavating, they actually found remnants of an old steel sheet pile wall there that the Corps had put in. We can reuse those sheets instead of pulling them out and putting in the new sheets like we had planned. Our recommendation is just to reuse those sheets. It will cost y'all $56,092.50, but the extra steel sheet pile pieces y'all will be able to keep for use, whether it's against East or wherever y'all will choose to use that material.
We can use it for shoreline protection along the levee. We have an area-wide permit that we can go install those anywhere.
How many feet?
That is plus 18, I believe, as well.
Okay.
And Mac, it was 40 feet on each side, about less, about, I think there'll be 16-foot sheets that y'all will get. Actually, it's more than that. No, it's about 16-foot sheets that y'all will get, 16 to 20s.
And you have places to use it, so that's good. Okay. I approve. Yeah, we made a motion to make a change order.
We need a motion.
It's a positive change order.
For the change order, we need a motion.
Oh, I'm sorry. Heard the recommendation of engineer for the change order. Moved by Mac, second by Brian. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
That's all I have for y'all today.
Any question for John?
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Angela, Mr. Neal.
All right, first project is CNARC levee maintenance or improvements. We had a contractor, Compo and Sons,
They were just finalizing some stockpile reshaping and dressing off some of the segments of this levee. So there's really nothing new on this project this month. Next is the Sea-South flood repairs and levee maintenance. Their contractor, Compo and Sons Construction, is continuing work on the berms, side slopes, and crowns of the levee. Today, we're recommending approval of his invoice number 1358 in the amount of $81,427.50.
All right, you've heard the recommendation from engineer to pay request invoice 1358 to Compo and Son, the amount of $81,427.50. Moved by Mr. Rowland, second by Scott. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
All right, next project is B North Levee maintenance. This is from the, I guess from the Golden Meadow Park area all the way up to the Basin Pump Station. They contract the New Gym Construction, which is Nick Walker, is working on the protected side berm for this levee section. We're recommending approval of his invoice number 1043 in the amount of $29,425.
All right, you've heard recommendation from engineer to pay request 1043 to New Gym Construction, the amount of $29,425. Moved by Monty, second by Mr. Rowland. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passed.
And the last project is the Section F berm improvements. They contracted with Sea Level Construction. They've completed all the work to improve the protected side berm. The substantial completion was approved at the November meeting, and we're currently in the clear lien period, and we should have that clear lien certificate next month. At that time, the contractor would be eligible for the retainage on that project, which is going to be about $198,000.
Anything else?
That's all I have.
Okay, any questions for Neil? All right.
Thank you.
Moving on, Delta Coast. Kyle, you have a report?
Good afternoon, Kyle Pierce, Delta Coast Consultants, acting as the program managers for Morganza. There's a couple of things to report on. On Reach K, the middle section of Reach K, between the structures, Lafourche Parish government and Archie have decided to try and acquire $1 million or so to put towards that levee to raise it to plus 11, which is a pretty big deal, you know, for hurricane protection in that area. And the other thing would be the Corps of Engineers has selected engineering firms for Reaches K and L, two different engineering firms from New Orleans, to begin the design on both of those projects, to eventually raise it to 20.5 feet. And that's about all I have, guys. Any questions?
Okay, any questions for Kyle? Appreciate it, Kyle.
Yep, absolutely.
All sides. Stevie.
So Kyle just touched on Reach K. I won't rehash that again. The only other thing on the agenda, Mr. Chairman, is the terrace project, which is complete. We have Terrebonne Levee District has submitted a bill to the South Lafourche Levee District to pay for the terrace construction, reconstruction that was done. I want to say the bill was somewhere around $350,000, which is much cheaper than what we had estimated if we had done it privately, so that's a good thing. Once the South Lafourche Levee District makes that payment, then we're going to get you reimbursed by FEMA over the next 60 to 90 days. We'll get basically 75% of that money back from FEMA. So that's a good thing. It's going to be almost a wash for you. And that's it, Mr. Chairman.
Appreciate that. Okay, legal permits and right of way. Anything, Mitch?
Yeah, got 3 this month. Coalition to Restore Coastal Louisiana, Chevron Environmental Management Company, and Energy Louisiana. After reviewing these 3, looking the board to approve these 3 permits.
Okay, your recommendation of our chairman to approve these permits. Moved by Brian, second by Monty. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Mr. Board Attorney.
Actually, that's what news said.
What?
Hey.
So that's gonna make a check go up. That's gonna cost us.
His dad is gonna be proud.
So, Ray and I were out of town for the last meeting. Neither of us could attend, and I don't think it was reported on, but the First Circuit has come back with their decision, and they have affirmed the district court. So we have prevailed on the LA contracting suit. We have not heard anything from them. I don't know if they plan to appeal that higher. And then I get the joy of going argue in front of the Supreme Court, which we'll deal with that when it comes, if it has to come to that. But hopefully they may come to us or otherwise try to figure something out, and we don't know yet. It's been quiet on that front. But I get to report something.
All right. Little sign,
How much that cost for you to report that? I know, it's an hour.
You're gonna find out next meeting.
Okay, moving on to Finance Committee, Monty.
Okay, Mr. President, Finance Committee reviewed all invoices and recommended they paid as presented.
Okay, you've heard recommendation on Finance Chairman to pay all our bills. Moved by Max, second by Gavin. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passed. Personnel Committee.
All right, so on the Personnel Committee, it's just a FYI, the grass cutting positions we were advertising as far as been filled. So I just want to let the board know we are full staff right now.
And I didn't mention earlier, and I'll do it in personnel, but I don't know if most of you know, but we lost a very important employee over here, our lead mechanic, Mr. Rod Cherry, and we're gonna miss him a lot, so I just want to please keep his family in your prayers. All we can ask. Okay, any old business? Any old business to bring up? And I just want to say one more thing in old business. I thank Daniel and Joe for being here, but didn't see Doug in the back for representing the governor, and we appreciate you coming here. We got a voice to let know what we feel, so we appreciate you. And in new business? No new business. Any reason for executive session? No? Okay, I entertain a motion. Moved by Scott, second by Mac, that we adjourn. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passed. Thank you, guys.